Let's talk about using images in your prototype. Many times you create a prototype that has a gallery or a video that you want to show a screenshot for, and Keynote actually has really good image manipulation features that I find more useful than other professional tools because it's just simple and straightforward to use. So let's say I want to have a picture of this gold iPhone 6 in my prototype. So I pasted this here, and you can see that there are other things around it. So the first thing that I can do is to actually crop my picture. And to crop, I'm just going to double click the image, and you can see the still bar will show. I can drag these handles around the phone or the part of the image that I want to show. And this way I crop the image only to that phone, and I can resize it later, and now I have the gold phone. But there's a problem. There's this red border around it that I don't want. So I'm gonna go to the image tab here, and I'm gonna do Instant Alpha. And Instant Alpha is this magic tool that Keynote allows you to use to remove a certain color. So as I'm dragging it, you can see it's removing the red, and if I keep dragging further, it's gonna remove the gray because that circle is expanding to include other colors that it needs to remove. Eventually, if I drag it all the way, it's going to move everything from the image. But now as I drag this, I can fine tune it again to remove the remaining red around this phone. And depending on the level of fidelity of that image that you want, and then I'm going to press done. And the phone still does a little bit of red around it, but it looks much better on its own than having that red background around it. There are a couple other features that you can use, which is the exposure. It's kind of like giving it more and less exposure, almost like it's taken with high exposure, low exposure, light conditions. The saturation, so you can turn it into black and white, so now it's a gray phone, where you can have the colors really vivid. And you can also automatically enhance the image, reset it to the settings that it were before you manipulated these. And finally, you can manipulate each of them, like the highlights and shadows and temperature and so on. So if I want to make it a little colder or warmer, what's the opposite? This warmer, this is colder. I can have a little bit of tint on it, or I can manipulate this the same way I do it in preview in Lightroom. So these are a lot of powerful features, and you can finally replace the image with another image that you have on your hard drive. What I do usually is, for my prototype purpose, I copy images from the web. I find the image is good enough. I copy it from the web, I crop, and I do the magic Instant Alpha, and then I use it directly in my prototype.